In an era overwhelmed by instant gratification, mental fatigue, and overstimulation, men are finding themselves spiritually bankrupt and mentally weak. At the core of this crisis lies a silent epidemic: excessive ejaculation, chronic masturbation, and the unchecked leakage of life force. Semen retention is not just a spiritual concept or a fringe lifestyle. It is a fundamental, natural discipline that builds mental strength, rewires focus, and awakens the masculine edge in a man. This content will deeply explore how semen retention solves mental weakness. We will break down the physiological, psychological, and spiritual impacts of retaining your seed, understand the science behind it, and analyze how it restores the essence of masculine power and dominance in the mind. Prepare to have your perceptions challenged and your energy awakened. Before we explore the solution, we must clearly define the problem. Mental weakness manifests in various ways: lack of focus and attention span, chronic anxiety and low self-esteem, addiction to dopamine and digital stimulation, fear of rejection and decision paralysis, mental fog, procrastination, and inability to delay gratification. This mental weakness is not a random phenomenon. It is a symptom of depleted energy and undisciplined habits. Every time a man wastes his semen, especially through excessive masturbation or meaningless sex, he leaks his spiritual and mental strength. The brain, deprived of vital nutrients and hormonal balance, starts to malfunction. The will weakens, the drive disappears, and the mind is left vulnerable to depression and fear. Semen is not just a fluid. It is the most concentrated expression of your body's nutrients, minerals, and genetic code. A single drop contains zinc, magnesium, calcium, selenium, testosterone, protein, and neurotransmitter precursors. It takes about 40 to 60 drops of blood to produce 1 drop of semen. When you retain semen, you preserve those nutrients for other vital processes: cognitive function, neurotransmitter balance, hormonal health, energy production, mood regulation. By contrast, constant ejaculation depletes the brain of these resources. It lowers dopamine sensitivity, dulls serotonin production, and spikes prolactin levels, leading to fatigue, depression, and brain fog. Semen retention reverses this decline. With each day of retention, the body begins to recycle the seminal fluid into the bloodstream, nourishing the brain and nervous system. As a result, men report sharper memory, more clarity, and an inner sense of power. Semen retention builds unshakable focus. Mental weakness often starts with scattered attention. In a society that constantly bombards us with short-form content, notifications, and stimulation, the average man can barely sit still for 5 minutes. This is not just a willpower issue. It's a brain chemistry problem caused by dopamine overload. Frequent ejaculation keeps the brain in a dopamine crash-reward cycle. You crave stimulation, chase it, release, and then feel empty, so you chase again. This cycle erodes your ability to concentrate on long-term goals. When you start semen retention, you break that addiction. Your brain no longer gets quick dopamine from sexual release. It starts to reset and normalize dopamine receptors, making deep work, reading, learning, and meditation easier. Your ability to delay gratification sharpens, and your focus becomes like a laser. This is how ancient sages could meditate for hours, and modern high-achieving men harness this power in business, athletics, and leadership. Mental weakness is often rooted in emotional instability, fear, anxiety, self-doubt, and depression. These conditions are heavily influenced by hormonal imbalances and neurochemical depletion. Frequent ejaculation leads to elevated prolactin, which suppresses dopamine and serotonin, decreased testosterone, leading to lower confidence and increased fear, depletion of zinc and magnesium, essential for calm and mood stability. Semen retention reverses this. Studies and anecdotal evidence show that after 7 to 14 days of retention, men feel more relaxed and grounded, less anxious in social situations, more confident in their speech and posture, emotionally resilient under stress. This inner calm is not a placebo. It is a hormonal rebalancing, a return to your primal masculine core. The willpower renaissance. Mental strength is synonymous with willpower. Every time you make a disciplined choice, you strengthen the part of the brain called the prefrontal cortex, responsible for decision-making and goal-setting. Semen retention is the ultimate training ground for the will. Every time you say no to the urge, you say yes to your power. Over time, this resistance builds your capacity to wake up early, stick to your goals, say no to distractions, speak with boldness, live with integrity. Without semen retention, most men live as slaves to their urges. With it, they become kings of their inner world. Mental weakness is also characterized by lack of direction. Many men feel lost, not because they lack intelligence, but because their mind is clouded. The leakage of sexual energy dulls the intuitive compass that guides a man toward his mission. Retention activates the pineal gland and third eye, according to many spiritual traditions. Whether you interpret this metaphorically or literally, the result is the same: clarity. Men on retention often report sudden insights about their life path, renewed motivation to build their legacy, creative breakthroughs and artistic vision, a sense of divine alignment. This clarity is not found in the fog of lust. It is forged in the fire of self-restraint. Every man has within him a divine masculine archetype: the warrior, the king, the sage, the lover. In the modern age, these archetypes lie dormant, buried under consumerism and lust. Semen retention is the flame that awakens them. Mental weakness disappears when a man remembers who he is. The warrior uses his energy to train, protect, and serve. The king uses his energy to lead and command respect. The sage uses his energy to learn, teach, and meditate. The lover uses his energy to connect, not just to lust. This rebirth of masculinity transforms mental weakness into inner strength, purpose, and sacred discipline. Please, before we continue, subscribe to this YouTube channel and share the video. Lust is the gateway drug to every form of mental weakness. It leads to impulsivity, regret, emotional instability, and guilt. Most men don't know how to say no to lust, and that weakness infects every area of life. But semen retention creates mental armor. Each day of retention builds self-respect. You know you are in control. Mental clarity. Your mind is not fogged by porn or fantasy. Vision. You see women as humans, not objects. Discipline. You don't act on every impulse. This mental armor allows you to move through life with integrity. You walk into rooms with clarity. You speak without shame. You lead without fear. Semen retention doesn't mean suppressing sexual energy. It means transmuting it. This is one of the most powerful ways it eliminates mental weakness. The energy that once went into ejaculation is now redirected into the brain for higher cognitive function, into the heart for emotional mastery, into the muscles for strength and vitality, into the will for perseverance and creativity. This is how celibate monks radiate peace. This is how athletes hit new peaks. This is how warriors become legends. The same energy that destroys the weak man fuels the rise of the strong man, if it is controlled. Mental weakness often stems from disconnection from spirit. Men who waste their seed too often feel empty, guilty, and lost, not just physically, but existentially. They lack connection to something greater. Semen retention reconnects you to God, however you define it, your higher self, universal intelligence, spiritual ancestors, your soul mission. This spiritual anchoring creates mental strength that no drug, therapist, or motivational quote can offer. You become grounded in divine identity, and that changes how you think, walk, and lead, building a new identity, from weakling to warrior. Semen retention is not just a practice. It's a rebirth. It allows you to shed your identity as a slave to pleasure and claim your throne as a master of your destiny. Mental weakness thrives in men who don't believe in themselves, live for comfort, avoid challenge, let their emotions control them. Retention transforms this into a man who believes he is chosen, lives for purpose, embraces suffering, leads with mind over emotion. This transformation is the death of mental weakness and the birth of masculine greatness. The journey isn't easy, but it's worth it. Here are ways to maintain retention and strengthen your mind. Meditation daily strengthens the prefrontal cortex and calms urges. Cold showers builds discipline and fights lethargy. Exercise transmutes energy into strength and focus. Purpose journaling keeps your mission clear. Mindful breathing helps transmute lust into awareness. Avoid triggers. Delete porn. Stay off lust-filled media. Read powerful books. Feed your mind with wisdom. Accountability partner. Share your journey with a brother. Sunlight and nature reconnects you to primal energy. Service to others makes you forget yourself and your urges. We are in a crisis of weak minds and soft spirits. Men are depressed, distracted, anxious, and spiritually dead, not because they lack potential, but because they leak the very essence that makes them men. Semen retention is not just about avoiding ejaculation. It is about becoming unbreakable. It rebuilds your brain, resets your focus, restores your confidence, awakens your masculinity, and connects you to the divine. If you want to conquer your mind, dominate your path, and unlock the power you were born with, retain your seed. That is the ancient and eternal code of the strong man. Click on the link below to join the Telegram community.